Hi, I don't know how you see me because it's a bit different light. It's still daylight outside, so it's kind of different in the room. So I hope everything is fine. I'm still having teeth problems and I'm still on a bit of pain, so I'll be sounding maybe a bit strange. But anyway, I thought I finished with what I've started last week. With last week's video I'll be talking about hybrid souls. I spoke about hybrid souls in my native language last week, and I'm not quite sure if I'm able to repeat everything that I've said now, because I've been visiting doctors all week, so a lot of other things have been happening, so my mind has been elsewhere. So I'll try to focus. So why hybrid souls and what are hybrid souls? First of all, why hybrid souls is because most of my clients are hybrid souls, and this is the topic that is not very well covered in the region where I live. I mainly listen about these issues, about the starseeds. The most common name for hybrid souls is starseeds, and I mostly listen to or read about these issues from English-speaking area, meaning from anything that I can get from USA, and mostly from USA. I don't know why, but most of this information that I get seem to be coming from there. But according to Michael Newton, Dr. Michael Newton, hybrid souls are souls who had lives on other planets before incarnating on Earth. Some of those souls, if not majority of those souls, well, not majority, but some of those souls have had less lives on earthly plane and more of those lives in other planets. And I've met quite a few souls. Some did know that and got information about that, and some didn't, who didn't have any prior incarnation on earthly plane, but they had a lot of incarnations in other planets. And how this happens, I mean, the clients that come to see me don't come with an idea that they are hybrid souls. Some have some notion about it, or have a hint, or are interested in topics like that, like I was, but most of them won't be talking about it. They won't be going around and telling people, oh, I'm a hybrid soul, and you know, I think I come from another planet, because people will think you're crazy. But it comes up during the session. So we work on an issue that client comes with, and throughout the session, at some point, either we observe a past life from a different planet, or at some point we receive some information that are vital for the issue that the client is working. And it's usually before we go to the Council of Elders, because they cannot come to the Council of Elders if there are other beings that are attached to them, or there is still some information that they didn't receive and are significant for what they're about to receive from Council of Elders. So this is usually when it comes up, and they're very surprised, they're very startled with those informations, and this is usually something that mental mind cannot just come up with, because they when they say something like that about what they are doing on another planet and how they came, who they were, or how they looked like there, they become very confused, and at that point mental mind starts to tries to jump in and stop and take over control, but of course we don't allow it. And then I'm sure that those information are pretty valid. Like most of my clients, 80 if not 90% of my clients had some story of this kind. And I myself, I'm a hybrid soul, and I guess this is why they come to me, and they're open to talk to me about it. This comes up in a session with me because I'm open for it. And most of my lives, I had most of my incarnations on other planets, not so much on Earth. I only observed several, maybe 2 or 3 lives on Earth, if that were not imprint. Or so I can relate to them. Usually what happens with those people is that they feel like they don't belong, like they don't have their soul group with them here, or usually they don't have their soul group with them here. Maybe they're usually not incarnate with them, or even if they are, they're dispersed somewhere around the area, in different countries around the area, either close by or not, and they at some point meet. And mostly with the cases with my clients, they don't, because they have different tasks, because they came with a specific mission, so to speak, here. And according to some of the cases, a few cases that were published by Michael Newton, they tend to be very sensitive souls. Their energy is different, and they usually don't survive the first lives of their incarnation on Earth, and they have a short lifespan because they don't know how to function in a body. And if they manage to overcome that, they have difficulties in adapting. So hybrid souls would feel unadapted, like they're malfunctioning all the time, like they're isolated or alone, and they feel very, very different, and they feel like people perceive their energy as different, and perceive them as different. And it usually is the case. Sometimes people come because of those issues, and then they are explained. And in some of those cases, I mean, prior to coming to Earth, most of those souls went to other planets that are denser in form. They're still in form, they're still matter, but lighter than the matter on Earth. And they practice to be in matter. They practice to be in the body, because soul energy is very light, and it doesn't have it's not a light body, but it's an ethereal body. So it takes time, and it takes practice to some souls, especially younger souls, to be in a body and to learn how to use the body. So they go to different planets. I've had a client who told me about a life that she had on a very small planet, where she was there with alone, or maybe 1 or 2 other beings were there, but they did not communicate. She was practicing to use her skills, and it was energy. She was supposed to be an energy healer, and she could use her energy for healing animals and plants, and not so much people, but energy or spaces around nature. So she was practicing. She was practicing there, and before coming to Earth, that was one of her lives, and she saw bits of it. Another one, she saw a part, only a bit of her life on another planet. They didn't tell me. Some tell me the name of the planet, something that they're imagining, so they don't tell me. Some don't know, don't receive anything. Some see their form there, some don't. It's just bits and pieces. It's very hard to remember those lives, because it's very unusual for clients to receive information like this, and they feel very uncomfortable, and they're afraid that they're imagining, they're afraid that they're going crazy. So the information that we receive actually about those things they're not too big. So whatever I can get, I take with my both hands. So the other client, was she remembered that she was on a planet that exploded, and her parents put her, packed her in a small part of a planet so that she can survive, and she was floating in space. And some beings approached her and offered her to accept her in their own community, which were very different beings than herself. And she accepted that because she felt lonely. Of course, we don't know what else happened there and why, and other things. So those beings were also alien beings, and she continued to live with them, but she felt misplaced, and she felt misplaced in this life too. She didn't have a very difficult life or something like that. We don't know about other lives. It's just that she felt very far away from her original nature. And those beings that she agreed to live with were not allowing her to remember her original nature because they had benefits in having her around. And this is the client with false guides that I was mentioning, and I've had a couple of them with I don't know what the case was, how they approached to that client. It's different cases, but it was not. It was not a scenario of living on another planet. But I assume that this client is a hybrid soul also, because the vibration of these clients is a bit different, and they are sort of healers. They have healing abilities. Like Michael Newton also told that their mission, their task is to be healers, either planet energy healers or planetary healers. And this is as much as he said about hybrid souls. Everything else that I've discovered is through my own sessions, because I've seen from 10 or 11 sessions that I've had, only 2 or 3 were earthly lives. All the rest was off planet, or at least it seemed so. And I've had 4 QHHT sessions. QHHT, or quantum healing hypnosis, is Dolores Cannon method. I've never read Dolores Cannon, so I don't really know what she's saying about this. I've listened to her therapist, and I worked with a colleague who's living here, because I have discovered that in my very first past life regression session, I have been told that I'm a hybrid soul, and that the life that I was observing at that moment was in another planet, and I was an ethereal being, and I was 2 beings, but like in one being that can split in 2. Ethereal being, it looked like a ball, like light ball, and then it splits in 2, like male and female, and they're also ethereal beings, and they are connected with some light threads, and those threads are not broken, but they stretch, and they can come back together again, and they can separate again, but they're not separate because they're always connected. And this is how they work, because it was a priest, or they were priests on that plane, and they were guarding a temple. And they were attacked by other alien beings with a task to separate this being so that they cannot protect the temple. And those threads were not cut, but they were darkened. And this is the point. This is the life that I've already mentioned, that I said to my therapist at that moment that I came from the future to prevent something. So this was the moment that I was trying to prevent. So when my clients speak to me about those lives as hybrid souls, as alien beings, off-planet extraterrestrial beings, I am never sure, is this a past life or a future life? And honestly, I don't care. It's about the story that they carry within. So we don't go research it. Sometimes these stories are really odd, and they give not very consistent information. And then when we go to the higher planes, I ask, what was that? And then they tell us that it's an imprint that their guides made for them so that they can learn something, so that they can override lives and lives of traumatic experiences that they are not ready to face yet, or it would take a long time and this being needs to be awakened, or they have never had lives on Earth, so they just pack something so that they can learn. So this is an imprint. Implant is something different. I've heard about these terms from Dolores Cannon, and I've heard from other therapists that implants are not bad. This is not true, because I've had them. I've had at least 7 in my body, and they when they started becoming symptomatic when the Earth's ascension was being quickened. So like a couple of years ago, when more and more light was coming into my being, when the light was dismantling and burning those implants, they hurt like hell. It hurts. I mean, I constantly have some body pains of unknown origins, and usually there is no explanation when I go to see doctor. And for instance, like the problem with my teeth now, I've been told, because it started like when I was taking some herbal medicines, it was burning me here, and I was asking why, what's happening here, and they told me that I have 2 implants in my jaw somewhere around here, and the light is the light is burning it, it's dismantling it, it's bringing it up to the surface. And then I've had, like last year, I've had a lot of problems with the side, with my teeth. I still have problems here with my teeth, but this is just burning those implants, like the last bit. And I've had this one that didn't want to come out, and I mean, I'm not imagining this, because I've had problems when I was connecting to my higher self, like I had a dream about a jaguar, and she was looking at me, her head was looking at me, and she flashed her eyes, and her head became my head, and I woke up, my head was 3 times my size, and I was swollen. And for 3 days, I was just crawling around the house, and for some reason, no doctor would want to see me. And after 3 days, and there were things that were happening at that moment, and I had this guide that I mentioned in last video sitting on this chair here with me, and I was seeing my light rising from my feet, and it was rising, and I didn't know what was going on, because it was very, it was physical. So I got, he was not saying anything, a guy with a beard and with a hat, and it's not a hat, I don't know what that was. He had long gray hair and long white beard. He was sitting here, and he was not saying anything. He was just sending me light, and it was too much light for me at that moment. I mean, maybe it wasn't too much, but I got scared. So at some point, I asked him something, and I asked him, who you are and what are you doing? He wasn't saying anything, and I just stood up at some point, and because I saw other beings there and some deceased relatives and stuff, I thought, I knew it was serious. So I asked him, am I going to die now? And at that moment, it just, it stopped. So I stopped it. Possibly, he was possibly here, but I didn't see him anymore. So after that, it decreased in intensity. And, but I mean, I don't know, did I stop it because I got scared or whatever happened, but whoever, the next person that tells me that they got their third eye open in 3-day course, or I don't know for how many hours, or who inserted something in them or whatever, is going to be kicked on the nose by me, because this is not how it works, and especially not when it's natural. So it's not always the pleasant moment, as you can see, which is, I mean, I'm speaking about it now and it sounds, I mean, it was scary because I didn't know what was happening to me. And at that moment I had something here and I didn't know what that was. And I had this jaguar who was who bit it, and he was holding on for that for 3 days. And my cat was not coming near me for 3 days. So I guess something was going on, but whatever that was, I overcame it. So with the help of my guide, so this is why I have a lot of faith and I place a lot of trust in my higher guide, my spirit guidance and my higher guidance. And yeah, why am I telling you all this? Because when you have a bit of different energy and you're not fully buying it, you're not fully understanding the way you function, it's not going to be easy. And it was not always easy for me. I was told in my very first session then that things are like this for me because I do have a different energy, that the vibration of my energy is higher and I need to lower it down. And I've been also told that until recently, I mean, actually at that time when I was told that the energy, the quality of the energy that I have is not able to function in the lower vibrational energy. And most of my energy is not in my body because my body cannot handle it. And when I connect to it more, and when I connect to different gifts, I can never incorporate fully all of my energy, which you don't have to. But when I connect to some of the gifts that are in my soul, whenever I receive new energy, when the old one goes, I get sick. And I get sick when I'm in a lower vibration. And I was very sick when I was a teenager, when I was a child. And I'm also all the time sick now. Every time something new is happening, I'm receiving something new, I'm being upgraded, I get sick. And every time I go into a vibration that I cannot handle, which lately is becoming impossible, because I mean, I even sitting on a bus, it becomes challenging. I do get sick, because what I do, this is how my energy functions, and there is no way of making it work differently, because we've tried in many sessions. I sort of bring everything inside of me and it gets cleared through me. And when I do this in sessions, it's not so bad because during sessions I have help and it doesn't stay with me. But while I didn't know how I function, especially when I was younger, I was getting sick a lot because of other people's energy on me, because I had a lot of other people's energy on me. And I was mainly dealing with other people's stuff. And I didn't even get to the point where I could deal with my own. So this is one of the things that is challenging for hybrid souls. And even though I was told that, I thought I was delusional, because I mean, who's gonna imagine being told something like that? And then I went to some energy healing with a girl who is doing Barbara and Brennan school, and then she started saying exactly the same things. And in every session that I've had with her, her comment was, well, this is crazy. This is out of my mind. This is out of the brain. This is not normal. And, you know, imagine functioning all your life like that, like you're not functioning normally like everybody else. And you're constantly being told that there's something wrong with you because you function differently. And of course, I searched for the reason. I wanted to know why. This is why I had so many sessions to understand why I function the way I function. And this is the reason. Because, I mean, it's become a bit easier, yeah, because the energies are different. The energies that are coming in are different, but still, there are a lot of challenges. And you have to be really mindful about your energy, about how you function and what happens to you. Yeah, another thing. I was also told in those sessions that the definition that we're being given about the hybrid souls is not exactly a proper definition, because being a hybrid doesn't only mean that you had lives on another planet. That means that you're an extraterrestrial. It means, hybrid means something else. Hybrid means that your energy consists different energies in it, that it's somehow enhanced, so that your DNA has different traits. I don't know how to explain this. Like when you have scientists experimenting with different species, so they want to enhance one species and they combine different species, so they create, I don't know, hybrid corn or something like that. That's the proper meaning of hybrid. So basically it means that you are made. And honestly, I don't know what to do with that, because I still haven't researched that. I haven't done much work afterwards on. I've been working on issues, on different topics, and this is what came up. I've been seeing lives where I was like that priest, and then I've seen a life where I was an amphibia, like underwater life on another planet also, where again I was some sort of a priestess, and I was observing a certain issue that I wanted to dismantle, and I was tracking this issue and the dynamic with different or the same actors regarding this issue, but mostly on other planets. So when we speak about hybrid souls, this also means that we have galactic karma. Of course, karma is a belief system, but at some point you accepted a belief system. So this pattern that you are having, of course, it's in another lifetime, and it can be an off-planet lifetime, but that only means that you brought this pattern from that life, and it started, for me, it started on this other planet. It was a Pleiades constellation, and the fuck up began there, and I brought it here. And my very first earthly plane life was very traumatic. And I was actually, throughout all of this that I was searching and observing, even those earthly lives that I've seen, I was healing this trauma. And I can't even say for sure at this very moment that it's being healed now, because I've been sacrificed in that life in Amazon. Not a priestess, but healer. Yeah. I have issues in calling myself the proper name of this healer because of that. So, and I brought it from there, and it started there. So also I had another life where I saw myself as a dragon or a dragon-like being, and then there were other beings. There was this group of beings, and this was my very first life in form. This was lighter form than Earth density, but I've been told in this session that those beings are biological machines, because they are they serve to those ethereal beings that we are actually, to be able to function on the planet that they're visiting. And they're not living there, they're just visiting this planet, because they're seeding the planet, they're creating life on the planet. And they use those beings to be able to be in the atmosphere of the planet, because they cannot function outside of these biological machines, dragon beings, or for a little while only. And then I saw exactly how they see the planet, how they do that. They sing to the plant, or they sing to the stones, or they create lightnings, like they place their finger in the water, and it creates a lightning strike, a lightning rod, and they create life by small cells, like they create cells, life cells. And this is how they do it. And there were some ego issues on that planet too, and there were problems that those problems started there. I haven't seen everything of that life. And what else? I've seen another life on another plane of existence that I didn't see it as a planet. I saw it as a plasma field. I saw it as a plasma field on the edge of the space, which was like violet, blue, pink plasma. And it's nothing there. When you're there, everything is white. Inside it, everything is white. And absolutely nothing, no shape, no nothing. But as you turn, everything appears. Like everything appears from here. Everything appears, and everything looks like big temples with gold and big pillars, and everything is so beautiful and big. And the beings are really big. They're ethereal beings, but they can be, I mean, human-like. They shape-shift. They basically shape-shift. So I'm a woman there, but also when I turn, I'm a dragon. But when I turn, I'm a tiger, and then I turn, and then I'm an eagle, and then I turn, and I'm a jaguar, and then it's different. So it shape-shifts, and I don't know what plane that is, but I called it Shambhala. So I don't know, is that a planet or whatever. So this is basically what I'm telling you about my own lives, my own experiences. And I felt really strange until I started having clients with similar experiences, but none of them were so specifically telling me about their lives off planet, because they just get startled with the information that they receive, and we really receive very, very, very few information. Like the two very interesting sessions that I had, they didn't even tell me that this was another planet. They told me it kind of is, but it isn't. It's Earth, but it isn't. It's Earth, but it's other dimensional Earth, but something like that. And one of them told me that he's some sort of a prince there. And he creates fire. He creates fire from his hands. And not light bulbs, it's literally flames. But then from his, then he can create light bulb. And this is like a generator that generates energy. And everybody can do that. And when they sort of bring this energy in one bigger ball. And this is like the generator that creates the city that's there. And he explained it in a detail because I asked him, but this is where my brain got lost a bit, because I was like, oh, what? I didn't understand anything that he was saying. I mean, I had it on tape and he was really detailed, but I don't remember that bit. And it was like a very fairy-like kingdom. And he was integrating his own abilities. That was his issue. But he couldn't integrate these abilities until he had until he made peace with his inner witch, actually with his soulmate. But he had to do it on the inside, because it was animus and anima that were in conflict, so they had to. She was very cold, and she was very angry with him because he was not using his talents, and she wanted him to use it in destructive purposes, and he didn't want to use it in destructive purposes, and they were fighting. And we kind of found a way for them to negotiate how to use it, and so that they can both participate in. And her purpose actually in his life, it was to mellow his talents, to sort of tone it down, and not to make it destructive. But at some point something went wrong, and we sort of worked on that conflict. So this is what I learned, that you cannot really integrate your talents unless you communicate, unless you integrate properly your animus and anima, your inner male and female, and you bring peace between them. So unless you bring peace in your inner family. And the other one that came was also the one. She also said that it was Earth, but somewhere else. She actually said New World, New Earth, and she didn't have a clue what she was saying. I've had other clients with the New Earth topics, and she was also working on integrating her talents, but she didn't come with that. She came with the financial issues, actually. She wanted to work on her financial issues. It's so funny what came out, because it was something completely different. And she was like some sort of a queen there, and she couldn't properly function there, and that place would be destroyed, and it was a lot of destruction unless she integrated her talents properly. And she had to integrate the polarities inside of her. Like, she had two sorcerers. One was white and one was black. And one was helping her and the other one was tormenting her. So we had to change agreement with the one who was tormenting her, because he was tormenting her only to remind her to use her gifts, because she was lazy, and she would use them, and then she would become too immersed into everyday life, and she would forget. And then he created problems for her, and especially survival issues problems, so that she can work, so she can use her talents. And what essentially happened at the end is that she was being given a completely new technique of how to use her gifts. And she was given a name, she was given how to, she was given a method, like everything. And it was the first time that ever happened to me that was so neat. it was wonderful. It was so wonderful. It was amazing energy. So I don't know, was that an extraterrestrial life? But there are a lot of talks around New Earth lately, and by what I've discovered, what I've heard from many different sources, and what I felt myself, is that New Earth is in another galaxy, and it's an Andromeda galaxy, and we constantly go back and forth, the ones who are integrating this energy, and we're holding the bridge for this new energy for the people to upgrade. So when I said that I worked on myself, why I mentioned that I didn't read Dolores Cannon is because, I mean, I know she's talking about New Earth, and she's talking about a lot of alien cases and alien abduction cases. I have been told that this is my case, and I have been told in one session that I've had an abduction, and I've had a chip around here, and those implants that I had were serving to they served, I mean, to me they serve to lower vibration at some point, so that I can function in this plane. But implants, they can serve to either, because you had them in another planet and you brought them from another life, and they serve the purpose at some point there, and they don't serve a purpose anymore, so they have to be dismantled. Or they are tracking devices, and they can be placed in you, not in a past life, but in this lifetime. And this happens during those abduction cases, and this is what Dolores Cannon speaks a lot about. And I've been listening and researching those cases a lot because of myself, but I'm completely unable to accept this fact. Although I have been told that I had a chip here, and I have been having lately loads of problems because of that, because I know exactly what's being cleared, because I feel it. I feel how it's being sucked out and pulled out, but I have health issues because of that. And we have had serious health issues because of that. And I mean, I've been told everything is going to be fine because it's being dismantled, but it's not nice. And the previous story with the flashing of the eyes of the jaguar and stuff, it's because of that. It's because of that issue. And these beings, when I also mentioned you having a karma, galactic karma, it means, from what I've discovered by listening to other abduction cases, is that they all said it's a incarnational agreements. And to me, this means that they have had karma with these beings at some point. Either they lived on this planet, they've been part of them, or they've done something to them, or vice versa. So this is why souls usually agree with some of the souls, because they're also souls. They're just different bodies. They're also us. They're just different bodies. So you agree to this scenario because of a reason, and they didn't research for a reason. They researched to what happened to them. I haven't had cases with clients who have had these kind of experiences, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. But I haven't researched it, so I don't know. Because usually what I search for, we work on an issue and we work for the reasons, for the causes of this issue. So we don't search when somebody started contacting you and why. Because I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. Of course, I would like to know more. And these kind of cases really interest me. But I'm more interested in helping you change your behavior and change this pattern and find the reason behind it, and understand yourself and understand your energy and integrate your energy and integrate your soul more in yourself, and understand who you really are. Because all of these lives, past lives, whether off earth or on earth, whether they are true or not, whether they're just stories or not, they're not who you really are. And you're just understanding who you are not to be able to understand who you really are and how you really function and why you function like this. So during this process, and I'm going to start crying now, during this process, I've been told that in my energy, there are 4 different kinds of energy. I'm essentially Andromedan. And this is by majority of my dreams and by what I was giving information in the sessions that I've had about them, and the energy healing sessions that the ships and stuff came out, and when the healer wanted to faint, she also mentioned those. I'm sort of half Andromedan, and I'm essentially from there. And I came from there, and the other part is a combination of Pleiadian, Arcturian, and or Arcturian, Pleiadian, and Earth or human. So I'm only like, I don't know, 30% my DNA. Like, I don't know what I'm saying here. It sounds crazy, I know, and I'm asking you to bear with me. Because all these issues, I mean, all this to me sounds really crazy, but I think it needs to be mentioned. And all the implants that I said, I've had them on myself, and I still have something here that I feel on and off, and I feel the beam, like the heart beam. And I've never listened to conspiracy theories. I don't read stuff like that, and I was never interested in something like that. But I was researching on what was happening to me because I was constantly sick, and I would feel this beam here, especially, that would lower my vibration and give me bad dreams. And in something, I would feel different parts of my body, pains. And here, especially when I go out, every time I get out of the country, I feel something like coming up to the surface here, because there is something is here. And when I had this problem, when I woke up being swollen, I felt when I was like semi-awake, something going on here, then it was moving around my head. I was feeling it in my ear, and I would feel it here. I hope that it's finally gone with this tooth. And I begged my dentist to get it out, and he didn't want to. And I was told in a session, because I did a session of why I have so many problems, health problems around this area, it's because of these implants. And they told me it can't be taken out yet, because they need 6 months to dismantle the machinery, because it was an energetic sort of machinery. And honestly, straight after 6 months, it got out. I didn't even know that it's going to go out that day. And that day when I was meditating, I at first on a workshop, I saw like there was something that was sending projection here, and I would see some images here. And then that day when the tooth got out, I saw like some metal in the meditation. I saw like there was a metal, and it just fall off from this part of my face. And I know it's strange, and it is as it sounds. It's fucked up. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't completely researched that. Why was that there and how it happened? Because I don't have a skilled enough therapist to work on that, because they're not open for issues like this. I mean, I worked on, I had 4 QHHT sessions, but I only received a few information. I started saying crazy things, and people were not open about what I'm going to say. So yeah, I know I need to research more about that. So it's very hard for me actually to speak about it, because this is something the first time I spoke about it was in previous video, in shipping video now. And whenever I try to say something like this to somebody, I just get dismissed. And there are other things that I've seen, and people think that I'm just, imagining or showing off, but I'm not. I really seriously have problems because of that. And I had health problems, and I've had other problems, and I was searching for what was happening with me, what's going on. And I've had other clients with similar issues. And when you work so much on yourself, and you went through so many different issues, and you looked everywhere, your inner child, your inner family, your power animal, your shadow, you twisted and turned every corner and looked at every possible shit you could. The issue is there. It's in your galactic karma, because you have galactic karma, and either you have a trauma that you brought from there or you created really big problems with somebody there. So it's just inviting you to take a look at it. I know there is a reason, and the reason, for my experience, is so that I can speak about it. And I've been reluctant so far to speak about it, because I've been feeling so very different all my life, and this is like another one. So I mean, this is like another issue that people keep telling me, don't speak about it, don't speak about it. And how can I not speak about it? Because I have clients with similar issues. I have to speak about it. So yeah, I'm speaking about it. So basically, what is happening is that you are being invited to integrate this part of you. That's most likely the biggest part of you, the best part of you, and the most divine part of you. And I've been told that I need to accept my alien nature. And it's not easy. Can you imagine telling yourself? To some people it is, but when I have a client who calls me and tells me that he thinks that he's an alien, I'm gonna think twice, and I'm gonna ask questions to see whether they have a diagnosis and whether I can really work with them, or if I can help them properly, or do I have to send them to somebody else? Because usually I mean, you don't think now that everybody has experiences like this. They don't. It just somehow happened that I have most of my clients with experiences like this, but they don't call me with the issue like that. It just comes up. So I have to be sure that that hypnosis is for you. This is the work, a technique for you, and that it can help you and not create more problems for you. Because honestly, some of those issues that I've discovered for myself, they did create some problems for me. Like, for instance, when I wanted to integrate light language, I mean, I don't know if that created problems for me or not, because there is a reason that I wanted it, and it's working now. So I wanted to open myself for light language, and I had a session on it, and I couldn't speak it in a session. But like a week later, like, the channel opened up and I was hearing foreign, strange languages all around. I didn't hear Serbian, I didn't hear Russian or English or that. It's strange languages with different groups of people. They would speak different tones. And I thought I was going to go crazy. And then I've had also beings visiting me, and I've seen them in my hypnagogic visions, and alien beings, that I've seen different kinds of beings. And some of them I would not like to meet again. Some of those energies are strange, so different, that I don't know whether they're benevolent or not, and I don't care. I don't want to have anything to do with them again. And I hear them speak. I hear their language. Well, some of them it's a click-clack language and stuff like that. This is not the bad one. And I mean, I'm telling you this because I can distinguish them. And this is not something that's been random for me, because it's been going on. It's an ongoing process. It's been going on and on and on. And from what I'm seeing with my clients and the cases that I listen to, it's the same for them. So it's not one case and then it happened once and it never happened again. It goes on. And I've also had dreams that lately, we're all like, I see mattresses placed on some cars who are flying in air, and those mattresses are filled with people. So I assume that we're all being taken on ship for upgrade, because the earth is ascending. And essentially, hybrid souls are here for their own soul evolution and not to help. I hear everybody speak about helping the earth to ascend. I don't think the earth needs help to ascend. It's humanity that needs help to ascend. And it's not only the earth that is ascending. It's the entire galaxy. It's a Milky Way that is ascending. And this is why we are able to communicate and see these lives now more so than before. So I assume this is why we didn't have so many cases from Michael Newton or other authors. I mean, there are some, they will be presenting them on some conference. They are not published so far. So I guess it's the time now to speak about those issues. But this is why, because it's not only us that are ascending, it's the galaxy that is ascending. And we're not alone, not in this galaxy. And there are other galaxies. When I mentioned Andromeda, Andromeda is another galaxy. I'm not going to be, I said 4 light years in previous video. I'm not sure about this information, and I actually said 4 years, but I meant light years. Maybe I'm going to be talking stupidities, but I'm not an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut, although I wanted to be one when I was a child. But I guess this is what was calling me to look at the stars, because we're all from stars. I believe that all of us, well, maybe if not all of us, not all humanity, but majority of us have had previous lifetimes in another planet before coming to this incarnation for whatever reason. And we just don't remember them. And it's not in everybody's soul contract to remember it. Maybe most people don't need it. And those who need it, those who are here to help in the ascension, they are here to help in the ascension of their own soul, and mostly of their soul group. You are helping. You're here to be present in this moment and to bring the vibration of your home here now and help the ascension of humanity, but mostly help the ascension of your soul group to whatever their next level is. And that's from what I've seen, from my own experience, from the experiences of my clients, and from what I could gather from everything that I've received so far, because I've had a crash course in the past 2 weeks about this issue, and I guess this is why I got sick a bit, because it's new energy, a pure energy that is coming to connect with me, to be integrated, and it's pushing out everything that it's old. And this is challenging. It's really challenging, because I keep waking up every day with something new, and I constantly keep seeing doctor like for the past 3 weeks or so, and I'm tired. But when I'm integrating, but I've been told that I have to integrate this part of me, the alien part of me, and this is what's keeping me stuck, because I'm unable to integrate this part of me. It's not because I don't want to. My body is rejecting it, because my body, as I've been told, is perfectly designed for this energy, but it's a very light energy, and it cannot function in denser energy. It means that the body cannot function either, because it starts basically to get sick. And this is why it's so challenging to integrate this energy. It's not that I don't want to. Trust me, I do everything I can to make it happen, but it can be faster. So I'm basically integrating my higher self and my soul energy at the same time. I see my higher self as a different form, and I see my soul as a different form. Which one is from where, I don't know. But when I see myself as a Milky Way being, whether that's a soul or higher self, I see myself as a jaguar goddess. This is me. This is the shapeshifter that I was mentioning. Dark-haired woman, not blonde, auburn or dark brown or something like that, with a jaguar skin. But when I see myself as a Dromandan, I see myself as a very light being, ethereal being, like a huge woman, very blonde and very pale and very blue eyes. And that energy is something that I see outside of myself, because I can't. At first I was seeing it far away from me, and now it's closer, and she connects with me here. And when she connects, she spends only a couple of minutes here. But I feel like a truck run over me afterwards, because I can't. Everything is pure. Everything is peaceful. The energy around it, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. It's so pure. And it lasts for a while. And then the earth is here again. But I, myself, I need time to integrate it. And once she came in a session and I couldn't speak. I almost couldn't speak. I have to take care of my client, not myself, during sessions. So yeah, that's why things have been challenging. So when I was integrating that energy, I guess this galaxy energy, I got this stone. This is a meteor stone. Sorry, this is a meteor stone. It's a tektit, and it started speaking when it came. It was very high vibrational. It was very strong when I got it. Now it doesn't feel so, but it pulled out so many things outside of me to be observed and cleared and healed. And it's so, oh my God. But I guess I would do it again, because it just came in the right moment. It was given to me as a present by Udruga Moldavit from Slovenia. They were giving it away, and I applied, and they gave it to me, and I'm really happy, because it came in a perfect moment for me to help me integrate something, to integrate this alien part of me, and I need different kinds now. But I'm really grateful for them. And I forgot to mention in previous video the literature that I use. I mean, I actually didn't read that many books about everything I'm telling you is from reading my own energy and reading my own soul. The only book that I read regarding extraterrestrials is the Law One, Raw Material. I was recommended this book by somebody, and I didn't want to read it because it sounded a bit dry. But then everywhere, it started jumping at me from everywhere with these kind of lines. You're not going to go on another level, on the next level, if you don't read Raw Material. I was like, what? And it happened more than once. So I was like, okay, I'll read Raw Material. And it was really challenging. This book was doing something to me. Really, seriously, it did something to me and was transforming me while I was reading it. And I had very challenging experiences and dreams. And the only other book that did this to me, it was not about extraterrestrials. It was The Hopi Prophecy that was given to me by a friend. And when I read this book, I started having an eagle visiting me in my dreams. And it was also very challenging, but the book transformed me completely. And I don't have it. It's not mine. I just borrowed it. But it was... it was worth reading, definitely. And as regarding of how to learn how you function, I was given this book a while ago from one of my teachers, Sandra, The Highly Sensitive Person. And it's good enough for empaths, how to thrive when the world overwhelms you. And it's just so for me. Of course, she knows me. That's why she sent it to me. And then there is another one that she recommended was the Empath Survival Toolkit, something like that. But I don't have it and I didn't read it. I'm sure there are other books. I mean, they were not so easy to find around here. We only had sci-fi movies and TV shows, and I loved sci-fi movies, and I was always addicted to them. And I guess I know now why. And there are some other books that I would like to read, and I'll come to them. But this is for now all. And is there anything else about hybrid souls and galactic karma that I didn't tell you? Yeah, I guess this is also telling you those experiences, those lives, those bodies, different bodies that you had, that they're also us. And they are helping you integrate who you really are and find out who you really are. And it's worth it. It's, after all these experiences, I definitely say, and you can trust me, it is worth it, because it's really connection with the divine. And when I speak about the spirit guides, they are not, I don't see them as spirits, because to me they have bodies, just different density bodies. And your council of elders is actually them. People tell me that they have in their council of elders their galactic father and galactic mother, and their teachers, who are galactic teachers for them. And they don't come to earthly plane, and some see other beings there. Not all of them tell me this, but some do. So basically, this is your first contact when they speak about first contact. And we are those galactic beings. We are the galactic humans. And for me, this is a higher self. Maybe I'm seeing it wrongly, because, as I said, I see my higher self differently than my soul self. But for me, this is a higher self. And your galactic human is still not your soul, because this is all in your soul. And your soul is light, is pure light. And yeah, I guess this is just to direct you in to make you look in this direction and understand that you have another heritage, not only this earthly heritage. We have another history, not only this earthly history. We have a galactic history that we know very little about, especially in my area. We don't speak about it at all. And we don't speak about those issues, about those things. And speaking about some other beings and those abductions, I sincerely wonder if most of those beings are extraterrestrial, because what I've discovered also, there are intra-dimensional beings who are 3D beings. We just don't see them because they function differently. And if you made an agreement with them at some point, of course, they're not going to leave because they cannot exist without you, and they're three-dimensional beings here, and they are not benevolent beings, and they have they don't have your best interest in their mind. And I see them spreading this red light color. It's artificial, and I feel it as artificial. And how I know it's artificial? Because I've had a missile flying over my house, a bomb flying over my house during the bombing in 1999. And after the missile went there, the energy that we felt was that kind of energy, completely artificial. And all the plants around there, they just went, they died. They just dried. So it was from what I've felt, from what I sense. So there are a lot of things that we're not being told. There are a lot of things that we don't know. I don't know why. I'm not researching why. And I don't know if I'm going to go further into this. I'm just giving you the information that I've found out so far because I was trying to discover what's happening to me. And I've seen other beings who came in my dreams who were blue, not electric, just blue color. And they also wanted me to make an agreement with them and come and play. They will give me powers and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't want it because everything is in my soul. And I said this 3 times. But they created a mess for me afterwards, even if they because they're electrical. They move around. Yeah, and there are beings who make contracts with them for whatever reason, because other people like powers. And I don't know why. I don't understand that, because if you understand anything about the soul, you will understand that everything is in your soul. Everything that you will ever need is already within you. You don't need anybody outside of you to give you anything. No powers of this world, there's nobody who can give you any power of outside of you. If nobody can open your third eye if you don't have the ability of foresight. I mean, they can, but then you are trading something of yourself for something, and the bill is going to come back to haunt you later, probably in another lifetime. And this is what I'm seeing with the majority of my clients and myself, including myself. And this is what I've been working on for the past year, and it's been hard. And this is why I believe I have the right to tell you that everything you'll ever need is in your soul. And it's been given to you by the divine and by God. And you're a sovereign being, and you can tell anybody to get the fuck out of your soul. So I think I'm going to finish with this. Thank you very much for your patience.